In a world where food insecurity continues to threaten the very foundation of many nations, Burkina Faso has taken a bold and unprecedented step toward reclaiming its sovereignty over sustenance. The Presidential Initiative for Food Self-Sufficiency, also known as IP-P3A, is no longer just a dream on paper. It's become a living reality. From the remote highlands of Gaoua to the bustling plains of Dédougou, something remarkable is happening. Barracks and prison walls, once symbols of confinement and command, have turned into flourishing gardens and buzzing livestock pens. The mission to achieve food self-sufficiency is not just progressing, it's blossoming. Before we dive into this powerful story, take a second to like this video. It tells YouTube this is important content, and it helps more people around the world discover what's really happening in Africa. Between July 13th and 19th, 2025, a team of officials, agricultural experts, and local journalists embarked on a follow-up mission across these regions to assess the impact of IP-P3A. What they witnessed was not simply a technical success, it was a transformation of mindset, purpose, and national pride. In military compounds where drills once dominated the daily routine, rows of cabbage, tomatoes, onions, and peppers now grow in harmony. Chickens cluck beside pens of sheep and goats, while soldiers swap rifles for watering cans during designated hours. In prisons where hopelessness used to fester, inmates are now tending to greenhouses, learning the rhythms of the land, and, most importantly, rebuilding their dignity through work that feeds a nation. What makes this initiative unique is its ability to connect food production with identity. For far too long, Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has depended heavily on foreign imports for basic food needs. Rice from Asia, onions from Europe, poultry from Brazil, all of it arriving in containers that chipped away at national independence with every shipment. But under the guidance of IP-P3A, that tide is beginning to turn. The initiative was launched with a vision to reclaim what should never have been outsourced, the ability to feed one's own people. At the core of the initiative lies a bold strategy: utilize existing state infrastructure, including military and correctional facilities, as production hubs. These locations already had access to water, manpower, and land. All they needed was direction and a plan. With technical training provided by agronomists and veterinary experts, the soldiers and inmates received hands-on education on sustainable farming techniques. Drip irrigation systems were installed, composting practices introduced, and modern livestock care routines enforced. In Gaoua, the regional military barracks have become a model site. Captain Yameogo, one of the officers overseeing the transition, explained the profound shift he has witnessed. "We used to focus solely on defense with weapons. Now we are defending our nation with seeds and soil," he said. "Feeding the people is one of the highest forms of service, and we are proud to be part of that." But perhaps the most emotional scenes came from the Dédougou prison farm. Once a place of punishment and despair, it now breathes with new energy. Rows of vegetables stretch across land that was once barren. Inmates, many serving long sentences, now work the earth with care, harvesting produce that not only feeds their fellow prisoners, but is also sold in local markets. The profits are reinvested into the prison's welfare programs and skills training. One inmate, who chose to remain anonymous, shared how farming has given him a renewed sense of meaning. "Before I counted days, now I count harvests," he said with a quiet smile. The social reintegration component of IP-P3A is one of its most revolutionary aspects. By equipping prisoners with real, marketable agricultural skills, the program is turning incarceration into education. Upon release, these individuals are not just free, they are employable, empowered, and capable of contributing to their communities. It is restorative justice in action. Beyond the walls of barracks and prisons, the ripple effects are spreading. Local farmers have started forming cooperatives with these institutions, sharing best practices and benefiting from bulk seed and fertilizer purchases. Women's associations are partnering with prison farms to package and distribute surplus vegetables. And young Burkina Faso students are visiting these sites as part of their curriculum, learning that the future of Burkina Faso's food security lies not in foreign aid, but in their own hands. This is a turning point. The IP-P3A is doing more than just putting food on the table. It is rewriting the narrative of what development looks like in Africa. It is rejecting the notion that progress must come from outside. It is showing that with vision, leadership, and the right spirit, sovereignty can be grown, one seed at a time. In the middle of this transformation is the strong presence of presidential leadership. This initiative was not an afterthought. It was a declaration, a signal to the world that Burkina Faso will rise through its own innovation. The president's decision to use existing public institutions, particularly ones associated with discipline and reform, sends a clear message. National development is not about flashy projects, but about sustainable, community-based change. As the follow-up mission continued, one thing became clear. The land is responding. The dry season still challenges the limits of irrigation, and there are logistical hurdles in transporting produce to urban markets, but the resilience of the people is unmatched. Despite limited resources, the teams on the ground are pushing forward. They are cultivating hope, row by row. Now, dear viewers, if this story moved you, if you believe that Burkina Faso's journey deserves to be seen, heard, and supported, then I invite you to like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm show it to more people around the world who need to witness the rebirth of African resilience. And to our loyal subscribers and members, thank you. Your support allows us to continue bringing untold stories like these to light. Returning to the mission, another unexpected benefit has emerged. Discipline and morale within the military and prison systems have improved. Officers report a drop in misconduct and a rise in cooperation. The rhythm of farming has introduced a new level of balance and mental clarity. "When you watch something grow every day, it changes you," said one sergeant. "You become more patient, more hopeful, more focused." This initiative is also serving as a blueprint for neighboring countries. Delegations from Mali and Niger have already visited to observe the program. Conversations are underway about replicating the model regionally, especially within the Sahel Alliance framework. In a region where conflict and climate challenges often dominate headlines, Burkina Faso is offering an alternative story, one of peaceful resistance through self-reliance. And while critics may point to the modest scale of current production, supporters argue that it's not about size. It's about strategy. The vision is long-term. Each carrot grown, each goat raised, each inmate trained is a building block, a foundation, a beginning. Even the country's diaspora is starting to take notice. Social media posts showcasing the transformation have gone viral in Pan-African circles. Activists, development scholars, and African youth across the continent are applauding the move. Some Burkinabe abroad have even expressed interest in returning home to participate in the initiative, bringing with them skills in agribusiness and food distribution. This movement is much bigger than food. It's spiritual, emotional, and cultural. It reminds us that land is not just a resource, it is a teacher, it is a healer, it is a revolution waiting to be nurtured. As we close this video, remember, the story of Burkina Faso is not one of weakness. It is one of awakening. In a time when the world often overlooks small nations struggling with big problems, Burkina Faso has chosen to dig deep, into the soil, into its values, and into its people. And what it has found is something priceless: the power to feed itself, the will to reclaim its destiny, and the courage to walk a path few dare to follow. If you found value in this story, don't just scroll past. Click the like button, leave a comment, share it with your network. Let the world know that Africa is rising, on its own terms. And if you haven't yet subscribed to Chronicle Updates, now is the time. Join our community of conscious viewers who believe in the power of stories that matter, stories that inspire, stories that build. Because this is more than news. This is a movement, and it's only just beginning.